really even talked about it. This is definitely now around the 4-year anniversary of our first podcast. First recording.
First one came out in
mid-January, but we recorded it just before Christmas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it bad luck to cheers on a drink that's mostly slabbers at this point?
I don't know, Nathan, you just opened it. I think it's probably not mostly slabbers.
Congratulations to us, I guess. We only just figured out Instagram today.
I gave up trying to figure out the shit. I actually find it much happier just winging it and going, well, sure. Whoever's fucking half paying attention might see it.
I got so fucked off with Facebook today that I just decided to...
I wanted to bring that up with you, actually. I think... I was like, we should just really fucking focus on the Patreon rather than trying to... Because that's people who have actually invested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rather than trying to reach people who haven't invested. Why don't we? We should be serving the...
I don't think it's a one over the other thing.
But I think energy-wise, you should be probably focused on our energy on that.
Yeah, I think we should focus our energy on both. You alright? You gonna be okay?
Yeah,
Do you want me to scare you?
I'm fine. Just undercutting my own sentiment.
I think...
Either they're the swellest guys.
Just need it.
What can I say? I digested the popcorn way too quickly there.
Wow. True.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought just completely shoving something into your face without chewing would have any effect on your digestive abilities?
Well, see, you talk so much that I'm like, and I'm just constantly filling my face listening.
You're right, it is my fault. It is my fault. Yeah, no, you're right. I hadn't thought about it that way, but it actually is my fault. There was me thinking that I was just having a conversation with my buddy, but what I was actually doing was giving him indigestion. Just by my words. You're correct. I hadn't thought about it that way.
A great take on it, isn't it?
A great take. Margaret has similar takes on things. I'd be like, could you do us a favour whenever you get home and actually maybe don't leave those cups up by the draining board? And it's like, well, if you wouldn't have done that earlier, and I go, do you know what? Fair play, it is my fault that you left your cup by the sink. I hadn't thought about it that way. Everyone in my life just pushing the blame onto the big man all the time.
The big man.
There's something really hilarious about referring to yourself as the big
man.
The big man. But yeah, no, I don't think it's a one over the other situation. I think we should always be trying to reach more people, and we should.
I'll tell you why I was thinking that. I was driving up from Oma to Belfast actually. I was driving up and I seen I could kind of see messages coming through. And then when I parked, I had to drop something off my brother, so I kind of parked up and I looked at him and I could see, all I could see was that you were having a nightmare with Facebook, and I was like, fuck, for all the return that you get on Facebook, we should really probably it just made me think, it was like, and the nightmare of all this cross-platform and stuff, is like, we should really just kind of start piling stuff into the Patreon rather, because there are people who have fucking bought into this, at least, so they're going to have an active interest in the other stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, I think the lesson to be taken from Facebook is probably resign especially today, I have never had more trouble just posting a simple fucking video. Like, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, it's never been more difficult. Like, it literally feels like in the last week or two, like, since, especially with the run up to we're still on December 21st. I know you're thinking this is March the 17th. Why are we still pre-Christmas? But guys, look, we were busy and we planned ahead. Okay, so that's just what you're dealing with right now.
If there's a steep decline in content over the last 4 episodes.
Yeah, welcome back to the past. But yeah. But yeah, like, I was just posting like a regular video and it took so I checked the reach after about 2 hours and it still said that I'd only reached one person. It normally says you've reached at least, like, even on a bad day, it's like 200 people. At least you've reached one person. I was like, fuck Facebook forever. And then realized that if I logged out of my page and viewed it like as my personal page, you couldn't even see the post. It wasn't even showing up. So I was like, fuck Facebook, it can fuck off. So I think the thing to do with Facebook is to just... Anybody that's listening, we have a Facebook group. You will definitely see our stuff in there if you want to see it at all. go and instead of trying to find people on Facebook, I think the idea with Facebook from here on out should be let people find our group if they want to find us on Facebook.
Yeah.
There you go. That's Facebook sussed. But in regards to like Instagram or TikTok or any of those sort of stuff, I think it's just a matter of like, you know, just using like this is a bit of shop chat, but we have loads of episodes that we haven't taken clips from as of the recording of this episode, and then we have a load of even just the ones that we've recorded today. There's clips that we could probably take from that, and just I don't know if it's a bit gross listening to the podcast that you listen to talk about how they're trying to make it a bigger and more successful podcast, but I mean that is the goal, is to try. I mean our goal.
I'd like to. It'd be cool to be able to do this more.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like, is to try and make this more our job, and so that we can put more of our time and energy into doing things we enjoy, like this, rather than having to make ends meet so that we can kind of do this on the side. You know what I mean? And your Patreon money has been a great help for that. Thank you to anybody that is still putting money into that. Like without, I mean that even in itself is like a big bill payment for me every month covered. Like, and it really helps. And the more, to be blunt, you know, the more people that go on to that, the less I have to worry about finding money other places, which is what takes up all my time. That ends up podcast being late and all that sort of shit. You know what I mean? It's just like one kind of informs the other. But so yeah, I want it to grow and I want it to be bigger and I want more people to listen. But I also understand that like you can't expect, like it's hard to make a good case for why your podcast should grow when you're not putting it out every week. You know what I mean? But it's like, especially in a month like December, it's hard. Especially coming out of a 2-year pandemic, like people start asking you to come and do gigs flat out. What am I meant to do? Like, not do them? Have to. I'm sorry, guys. So like, it makes you feel any better. Like I've had weeks where like I've had like 11 or 12 gigs in a week. You know what I mean? With like one day off. So in 6 days, I'm doing at least nearly 2 gigs a day, most of December, which is fucking great financially. But trying to do other stuff on top of it is just a bit of a roast. But I am adamant that like this podcast is something that I enjoy doing, and so therefore I'm adamant that I will make a career out of it, because it just feels like giving up not to try and make a career out of something you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I think we both get something out of it.
Yeah.
Both just for our own mental well-being. Well, maybe not so much you listening to me all the time.
While that was happening, while like I seen those messages, so what had happened was like, I live just on the edge of Oma, and there's a wee village called Caligula. It's essentially like
Darkness on the edge of Oma.
I could walk over it, like it's a dander over, but you can kind of get out of town that way and onto the road to Belfast. Kind of, there's just an easy kind of road out there. And my cousin Lisa messaged me, who works in film and TV and stuff. I met her for a coffee. I was chatting to her, and I was like, I need to shoot on to Belfast here. She was here. Actually, if you want to avoid the town traffic, if you just go left and right, and just kind of, it'll take you right. If you just follow straight that road, it'll take you out to past Oma Mates, and it'll get you on the road, and you're pretty much on the road to Belfast, or on the road to Ballygolly. It'll get you to Belfast. And I was like, yep, grand. Where's that again? Where, left and right? Did you say left and right? You know, so I went over it a few times. It's like, grand, I'll give it a go. And I immediately pulled out of where I was parked anyway, and there was a load of traffic, so I was like, fuck it, I'll go down this way. But I eventually got to where she was on about. But I kind of realised, I was like, it wasn't just a straight, there's loads of different roads. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to fuck it, I'll not look at the maps. I know I'm heading in the right general direction.
Yeah.
I'm sure this road will converge with the other road fairly soon, you know, there's only a few, and
that's how I ended up in Costa Rica.
35 minutes later, I was deep in the heart of Tyrone back roads, like, and I was like, I could see the messages coming through, and I pulled over at 1 minute to kind of get my bearings, like, right, maybe I should just admit defeat here. This is one of your fuck it, let's do it and see what happens. That doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Much like the sleigh bell injury, which must look like it's gone on for months now. But I seen the message come through, and I seen like kind of you going, I'm having a nightmare of posting a video and asking questions like, what do you think, should I do this, that and other? And it was like, don't tell him you've got lost on the way from Oma to Belfast.
A road you drive all the time.
You know, you've somehow managed to get lost deep in the heart of the county
Like
you
such
were
a
born
classic
in.
Mick error to make.
I was like, how have I got lost here?
Where's my balls?
Anyway, I made it into Ballygolly eventually. Civilization, fucking hell. There was nothing. I was so surprised how it always blows my mind from everywhere in Oma or around where I live, how quickly you can get into just absolute nothingness.
Yeah.
Just rolling fields.
Yeah.
That seem to roll on endlessly onto the horizon.
He produces a show on you want to fight.
Rolling fields. And now Farms Weekly with Roland Fields. Oh my god. But yeah, that's what happened to me. While you were having that crisis, I was lost in Tyrone somewhere.
Yeah.
A thing I thought I could never do.
Not a bad place to get lost now.
It's a great
In
it's a great
fairness.
county.
I
It's the
wouldn't-
Donegal of the North, I've
Wouldn't wanna
heard.
well, they'd contest that Donegal is the Donegal of the North.
You know what I mean.
It's literally the most north.
Hey, listen, that's the line I need to keep perpetuating to fight the anti-northern bias that I get in Orla's house.
So I keep hearing, yeah. Sounds like you just need to tell them all to fuck off.
At times it just feels like it may just be very personal.
It certainly seems that way, yeah. yeah. That's
I think it's
great
just, I think
take.
it's coded. I think what they're trying to do is they're just trying to make me feel uncomfortable. You know, it's not Northerners they have a problem with. It's me.
Did I ever tell you that Margaret's Uncle Sam just calls me Brexit?
Why?
Because I don't, as with a lot of the humour in Margaret's family, it doesn't really matter if it makes sense. It's snappy. And if you try to peel away at the layers of, because as I once did, it was like, so why am I Brexit? He was like, well, you're fucking off out of the EU. I was like, no, you are. I'm staying. I still have an Irish passport. And he just goes, no, Brexit. You're Brexit. It's you.
Classic Brexit.
You're
that
classic,
is something you'd
classic
say,
Brexit.
you idiot.
You fucking Egypt, but you're Brexit. But yeah, I find often.
Man, I have a cousin who has her Instagram page over the last 2 years. She went full blown anti-vax propaganda, to the point where it's not. It used to be all of her family, and then it was just full blown. Really, really head on stuff, and it was just mad how quickly it changed. I was like, wow.
Do you think when this is all blown over, because there was always anti-vaxxers, but they were against all vaccines?
I think this is just a thing that happens.
Yeah.
I think this is a thing that happens. Wasn't there another vaccine like about 10 or 15 years ago, something similar about vaccinating your kids with something? I remember seeing a quote from
It was like that they give you autism, wasn't that always the thing?
And then there was, I remember seeing, I can't remember what the source of it was, so it could be bullshit, but it was like a quote from the Times of like, it was either the Black Plague or something like that. It was essentially like the inns were full of people despite this plague, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, you're never going to be able to reach everybody, but I think the goal is to try and make an empathetic connection with enough people that they understand the overall goal, but you're never ever, never ever reach everybody.
I never understood that, as an argument as to why to avoid a vaccine, like that it would give you autism. Like, I know loads of autistic people and they're grand. Right? Like, pick a worse thing than everyone's like, I mean, it's a spectrum for a reason. We're all on it. You know what I mean? It's like, is that not true? Like,
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure like we're all at varying ends of the spectrum of autism. Otherwise it wouldn't be a spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, surely starting from not at all to full, or I don't know how it works.
I've no idea.
But I've met plenty of autistic people and they're fine. Like, what a terrible thing to pick as your, well, don't take that or you'll be autistic. What you mean, more interesting and better crack than you? Probably really, really interested in something and will be more interesting to talk to than you, who just only wants to talk about why not to be good crack.
But isn't it like a thing, like, isn't that like, wasn't the same
That's not
crack
to say, by
happening?
the way, for someone who gets, I know that difficulties with it. I'm not saying it's like a totally no hassle fucking thing to have, but
it's an aspect of humanity that like why
it's like a thing
it's
that
another
loads of
facet
people
of our-
are. It's
yeah.
fine. Like it's not a big deal. It's
I think the same thing happened when it was like the Spanish flu in the early, like, wasn't it like around 1918 or whatever? The same, I think it was the same crack was happening. Like people.
But you gotta pick if the thing that you want the outcome to be is very hard to convey, you need to make the stakes much higher than autism. Like you should be telling lads that their cocks will fall off. They wouldn't even do the research. They'd be straight in the pharmacy just going, I heard a thing, get that in my arm. I don't want to take a single chance. That would be the end of any argument. Like conversely, like if one of the symptoms of COVID had been erectile dysfunction, like that would have been the end of it. There would be no debate in the radio. It'd be like, have you been down? Of course. There's no way. Right?
Yeah, well,
pick a better fucking thing. You're shit at campaigning.
Yeah.
Like, you have a messaging problem, anti-vaxxers. The problem is that the thing that you're the most afraid of is just maybe a mild inconvenience. It'll be fine. The thing that you're most worried about, it's just, it is such a, like when I hear that as an argument as to why you shouldn't vaccinate your kids, it's like, well, you're not going to vaccinate yours and they're going to be fucking shit crack probably because they're not going to be allowed to play with anybody. And they'll not learn how to be fucking cool kids who know how to work in groups. That'll be a much fucking bigger problem than a couple of kids with autism. They'll probably fucking figure out teamwork way quicker than your bullshit kids who have never met anybody ever because they can't. Because they can't be near anybody because they are going to die if they come in contact with anything. You fucking idiot! Like I swear, it kills me. You're like, and most of these people are vaccinated because they have been since birth. They're like, never hear of polio. Well, you can thank the vaccine you were given at birth for that. That's why you haven't heard of polio. You fucking moron. Like, lay another one on me. A pharmacist told me a really great comeback for if anybody ever asks you, well, do you know what's in your vaccine? He says you should reply and say, well, do you know what goes in a coffin? Exactly.
So still...
Do you know what goes in your vaccine? No, I don't. But I know what goes in a coffin, which is dead people who don't get vaccines.
Right.
I didn't want to have to really walk it the whole way.
I mean, I get that. I thought there was a snap air element to it.
I just feel like it's pretty on the nose.
It is on the nose, yeah.
It doesn't profess to be very funny. It was written by a pharmacist after all. Tommy Tiernan, famed comedian and also a pharmacist. There's no one's Wikipedia entry hiding that gem under it. Steve Martin. Oh. Never saw that coming.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. But it's funny, I think people like that just kind of like need like a cause to fight. Like, you know what I mean? And
I know some people who have just kind of their emotional pressure points. They're not deniers of any sorts, but their skepticism has kind of been enforced by just their emotional pressure points have been has got to them. Some information has got to them at a time that has affected their kind of outlook, which, you know, we're all, it's people I love and respect.
Yeah.
So you have to accept, you know.
I heard a girl ringing in to a phone-in show on the radio a couple of months back, and it was kind of to that. It was an interesting point that she made. She basically rang up and she was just like, "Look, I know that you have all these experts on saying that it's perfectly safe and there's nothing to worry about, and I know that the information that I got from Facebook was incorrect and not based in fact. But yet I still can't bring myself to go and get a vaccine because I'm worried that is still going to happen to me or whatever." And she was like, "No, I'm saying this as a rational person on the radio who is telling you that I now understand that the things that made me hesitant initially, I know those are not true, but yet I still, it was around fertility. She was worried. She was worried.
Well, that's what. Yeah.
And so she was worried about, like, she was going like, I now know that there is no evidence to suggest that I'm going to have any fertility problems, but yet I still can't go and get it for some reason. And that's kind of where I am right now. And it was like, all those points of view are far more easier to accept and to digest and whatever. But I mean, those aren't the people I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's like,
same.
like I have friends that like just wanted to wait and were like kind of just going like, I'm just going to take my chance and I don't know enough about it and whatever. And my argument was always like, well, I didn't know anything about any of the other ones that I took, like, so I don't know why I'm going to start pretending right now like I've always been reading up on my vaccines before I took them. Like I haven't, so I'm not going to be a fucking hypocrite now and start all of a sudden researching things. But at the same time, that's a far more reasonable reaction to have to something than just like something a doorman in a bar told me the other night, which is that, did you know that there's monkey flu in it? Like, some people can't be reached. I dare say he already has monkey flu in his brain. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be able to do anything to convince this man that there is. And you want to see the fucking face of sincerity that he said it with. Funny, he's on the door with another lad. He's on the door with another lad.
He's got monkey flu in his brain.
He's on the door with another lad who, like, it's funny when they're both together, you would be you'd be forgiven for thinking that they both agree with the same ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But when you separate them, it's only one of them. It's the slightly older lad has the more radical ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll also, I don't know, do you ever have conversations like these with people who, I mean, the severely anti-vax thing is like an easy one to latch on to. Maybe it's more fresh in people's minds. But like, so I would chat to this guy like every week, and he's a good guy. Like, he's a nice fella. And I mean, in this case, he's susceptible to misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not going out and double checking anything or whatever. He's like, you know, if his mate Vinty says that this is what it is, then by fuck it is what it is, because he was right about the price of kit too. So like, what else could he be wrong about? Like, you know what I mean? There's fucking not a lot of wiggle room there. He's right about
Definitely not.
He's right about so much.
The price fluctuates.
It's up and down, but Vinty's always on the up to the minute price, and that's the thing. You know, but he was standing there, and he goes, they were given off because the COVID passports had just been brought into the bar, and they basically had just been lumped with the responsibility of, this is your job now, along with all the other shit. Like, this is your job now, and it's not. I understand the frustration. Like, it's not enforceable by the police, but if you're found to have let someone in without one, then that's enforceable by the police. Like, there's loads of weird shit about it that I think is so dumb. If I'm being honest, the whole idea of that, even now that there has been months and months ahead of us, a fucking case study down south about COVID passports, and their numbers are just rising just as quickly. Like, it's really hard to make an argument to folks who are in a struggling industry as to why these are so important. Like, I'm for them, but like, it's still, you need to come up with a better rationale than because I fucking said so. Like, but so he was like, he was talking about though, like, he was like, so they had to take the week prior off because one of them got COVID. They were both fine. They were grand. Nothing, no real major symptoms or whatever, but they just had to isolate because they tested positive. That was fair enough. So I'll cut that out. We both made expulsions. So I was like, well, did you? How were you with it and all? He was like, I was dead on. I was grand. Bless you. He was like, I was dead on. I was grand. And I was like, and I was like, well, how's this COVID passport thing been to deal with on the door? And he was like, it's a fucking nightmare. It's this and that, whatever. And he was telling me all about it. And I was like, all right. And then he goes, he just kind of hard turned into just, as I often find happens with people with a really strong point of view on something. There was no real natural way into this part of the conversation. It was just more of and another thing.
And over the moat job.
Yeah. Just, he was like, I don't know he was like, when are these jobs going to end? Like, and I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, they're talking about a fourth job now. I was like, are they? I hadn't heard. I still don't even know if that's true. I mean, there's a flu jab every year, so I have no idea if that's reasonable or not, really. And I was like, really, are they? Right, okay. And he was like, aye, man. And then, like, there might be another one after that. And another one after that. And I goes, do you get a flu jab every year? He goes, I do, aye. I goes, well, do you ask what goes into that every year? And he was like, aye. And then as well, like, just nothing that is challenging at all is dealt with. It's just like, yeah, I don't mind that. And then carry on. And then, like, another thing. But he said, like, one thing he said was that he was like, I'm not having some fucker put COVID in my arm. And I goes, oh, well, no, let me stop you there. As far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone please feel free to, because if I'm wrong, I've been going around with the wrong information. I don't want to do that. But as far as I'm aware, there's no COVID in the vaccine. It's not a live vaccine, so they're not giving you virus, which is what some vaccines are. It's just some other shit, I don't know, along whatever's like fits in next to the microchip. It's just like, you know what I mean? Just whatever fits. Most of the stuff is probably in the OS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
you scan the QR code in your arm and you'll get all the information.
Yeah.
You need.
COVID free for 10 days.
Yeah.
Get your next scan. Probably on jab 5 or 6, probably at that point. But so, and I was like, oh no, but there's no. As far as I'm aware, it's not like a live vaccine. And he just goes, I mean, it's ridiculous. And I was like, yeah, but. But did you hear me when I said that there's no...
Did you hear that last bit?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
You know the last bit where
Can I just confirm?
Yeah.
Can I get a written confirmation that this is actually a conversation?
Yeah, I'm not just
a sounding board?
Yeah. And he was just like, yeah, but I mean, even still. I was like, no, but...
No, that's a good point, though. Even still. And it is just ridiculous. And even still...
And it's a joke, and them ones up there don't know what they're doing. Am I right?
All good points, Nathan.
I feel like we should test the limits of how far we can have one of these nothing conversations.
Jesus, it's just absolutely ridiculous, Nathan.
I think the whole thing now, at this rate, I mean, when's it all going to end?
They're only in it for the money.
Well, see, Pfizer? Or is that even how you say it?
Oh, shit, they're all the same. It's all run by the same company.
I read a thing about Pfizer once, and fucking, Jesus, it was a long read.
My cousin, he had a vaccine once and his friend died later.
Really? Of what?
Yeah, who knows? Probably shock or something.
Oh, really? Yeah. Was it just because his mate got it and he couldn't? They were so close before.
So it just goes to show you, it's probably more people actually dying from not getting it and hearing about it.
That's probably what.
So we're the victims.
I heard that as well. Yeah,
we're the victims.
We are
for
the
not
victims.
Yeah.
I think we're oppressed.
Do you know what other race I hate?
Here, speaking of,
sorry,
did you
fucking silly?
Did you hear? I heard that there was one of these protests that happened in Belfast, and apparently has been happening in various pockets of the country. Some of the severely anti-vaxxers, maybe with the monkey flu on the brain, have been wearing the Star of David, on their arms. Now, obviously, that's horrendous. But someone at the top is very clever because, like, I don't think that everyone that's doing it realizes this, but to have the awful mind to realize that in the inevitable pictures of you having an altercation with someone or you being refused entry to a bar and your mate has a camera or whatever, and you don't bother going to the lengths of explaining the context of it in your viral video. It's going to be these fucking videos of people who think that their plight and oppression is the same as what that represents. Yeah. And therefore the imagery will
There's a lot of that.
The imagery will just do the work for us
that
then.
Association is really weirdly prevalent at the moment, and it's like,
what a catastrophic misunderstanding of history you need to have.
Exactly. It's
to think that your plight is the same as people who literally were sent to concentration camps. Yeah. It's like, I can't get a Viennetta. I'm the same. Someone had to bring my Viennetta to the door in a van, and they made me stand back while they left it there. And then I brought it in and I ate it in my house.
Like the people who wave those placards with that overt imagery, right? I guarantee you they're not history students.
What makes you say that?
Because I was handed a fucking thing.
Guys, hot take alert.
No, but like that's the thing. But it is like, why? Like, we're giving these people the oxygen of publicity that because they have went for the most gauche, obnoxious fucking imagery they can, and we're feeding it by sharing it and talking about it.
It's because, that's the thing. It's like it becomes...
It's like that time I was at the St. Paddy's Day parade in New York and they handed me the massive England Get Out of Ireland banner, which was funny for about 5 minutes, till all these middle-aged Yanks started coming up to me and asking me about it, and I was like, this is too grim. I gotta get out of here. Philly noped out straight away. He was like, I work for the BBC. I can't be seen anywhere near that. I'm not holding that.
Didn't even say please at the end. Where are our manners?
But it's just such like...
There's such a catastrophic failure of education.
Yeah.
I mean, like, really, that's...
it's the same.
That's the real pandemic here, Mick.
There's a really famous photo of a guy in an orange march with a swastika tattooed on his neck.
What?
Talk about a mixed message there. Supposedly,
that's the worst I could say about it.
Anyway,
it is a
like,
mixed message.
That is like I think it was a war that, like, you know,
Yeah.
what the Orange Order and their allegiances to the Great British who defeated the Nazis, and you're walking there with a swastika gun.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, are you what? Like, are you an artist? Is this a joke?
But see, Mick, the problem is that to have the understanding of why that is so ridiculous in the first place would mean that they would have had to have been paying attention in school. And if there's anything I've learned about most of these people, it's that most of them probably couldn't even spell school to mind pay attention at it, because it is just you have to be... Can you imagine even listening? Like, I can't even tell you where all the information I have, and I have what limited information I have about World War II in my brain somewhere.
Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, for anybody who wants a great World War II or World War I and II podcast.
But I mean, I would say I'm a very passive consumer of World War II history. Like, very passive. I got like a C in history in school.
Let me tell you this, Nathan. World War II, it's too mainstream. World War I, that's where it's at. That's where the original and best war.
But do you think really, like, that anybody who has been paying attention to... I mean, I would dare say that World War II programming, it makes up a sizable percentage of regular, like, you know, programming on... Well,
I will tell you this, Nathan. A couple of summers ago, I was having a lunch in the City Hall grounds. Can't remember who was with. It was a couple of people. We were having a wee drink and a boojum, I think. And there was a guy sunning himself with his mates, top off, with a swastika tattoo on his shoulder. On his back shoulder. And this was only a couple of years ago. And I could not believe that this guy was just sitting there with his top. Now, it was faded. It was faded, so he's obviously had it a while. But it was visible.
So he's felt that way for a long time then, at least. That's fucking hectic, man.
And that was only a few years ago, and I was like, that's just...
I know that the best thing to do there is to avoid confrontation, and that is what I would do at all costs with a lunatic like that laying in front of me. But, like, is there not a visceral reaction inside you when you see that, and you're just like... Yeah,
of course.
I want to beat the fuck out of you. Like, what are you... You just... Not even in a very overly... Just a... Wise up. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I was there with my roller skating troupe, and I didn't really... And I didn't want to cause a scene.
Let's bleed, boys!
Ow,
Stick all these motherfucking Nazis on these motherfucking parts.
Let's bleed. That's brilliant. Oh man, that is right up my street.
She's always having to pull herself back forward.
This goddamn city hall's full of Nazis, boys.
That is just like the most boggles the mind thing that like that's a really damning sort of a just snapshot of this moment. Is just like that this is also what's happening right now. Like, how fucking mental do you need to be? Like, believe whatever you want. Like, see, vaccines, all that. If you think you'd prefer to wait, I disagree. Fine, do whatever you want. But imagine thinking that not being allowed into a fucking, in for a pint in the Dirty Onion is the same as fucking the Gestapo turning up at your door and tearing you and your children out of your beds, sending your kids one way to Poland and sending your wife and your fucking family and yourself and fucking everybody else, all the adults, down to one of the other ones, or whatever way they split them up, and fucking never seen from them ever again, and fucking shaving their heads, tattooing numbers onto them so that they no longer have an identity. And you're like, that's the same as me not being able to get Guinness when I want it. You should be ashamed of yourself. You fucking morons, like. Just like, I swear, every time I hear stuff like this, it reminds me of that Bill Burr joke from his Saturday Night Live monologue. And he was like, get vaccinated, or don't get vaccinated, I don't care. Kill your fucking grandma. He's like, whatever. I don't fucking care. We're not losing any fucking Nobel Prize winners here. It's fine. If that's where you are, like, you know, I'm all for the nuance in the conversation here, but if you've gotten to a Star of David on your arm to prove your point, you've already made it. Like, you've lost the argument.
A relative of mine, one of the images she shared, it was like a kind of animated thing, and it was like a child being ripped from the arms of a parent, with like, you know, like authority figures kind of wearing masks. It kind of looked like police or whatever. Like, it was there was like a halt sign on the road, and they're being ripped. The child has been ripped out of. It's all just animated, like the child being ripped out of the parent's arm. But there was this, like, I noticed there was a band with the Star David, and I put a thing on. I was like, what are you trying to say here?
Yeah.
Like, did you notice this bit? Yeah. Like, is that part of what you're trying to, like, or is that just gone over your head? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, you know what? I think this is just one of these times you need to just unfollow, and you're not gonna fucking, this person is too far gone.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking hectic, man, isn't it? Like, I made a couple of.
I was never that close with Mum anyway.
Couldn't you have said that in 20 minutes time? Mum, what did I tell you about sharing stuff on Facebook? Fuck's sake.
Well, my mum's such a sweetheart online. She just shares like things about loving her family, and she'll share something the odd time about a son, and you'll get a wee link in. It's always very sweet and wholesome. Oh, good on you, Mags. Glad you're not a Nazi
anymore. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, like I feel like a lot of the memes shared from that side of the argument just kind of come with a huh? Yeah. You know what I mean? Huh?
What's next?
Know
What's
what I mean?
next? Huh?
Am I right? And you're like, I don't really know. What are you trying to say? And they're like, but
you know what phrase I hate?
You know?
A picture says more than 100 or 1,000 words or whatever. It's like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah. Do you know what says a lot? A lot of words. Do you know what says an awful lot? Big books. Give them a go.
But you know what? Actually, do you ever watch one of my favorite episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is where they have the in-house court about the serial defense, the Reynolds versus Reynolds serial defense.
Yes.
Where Mac is forced to defend evolution or argue evolution.
Yes.
And his argument is like Dennis's fact-based logic is based on faith because he's never actually sufficiently educated himself on the material. Yeah. He just trusts the other minds. And it's a really fun take on that idea of like the faith versus logic idea. It's making an interesting point because I couldn't tell you what I just got stuck in my arm there, do you know?
Yeah.
Whereas I'm putting an implicit trust in the science and the structures, the hierarchies and structures that are in place
Yeah.
in the scientific community, you know, but like put down it, you could argue that it is a decision based on faith, do you know?
Yeah.
It's a funny fucking conceit for a sitcom episode.
They're very good at that, to be fair. Yeah, I mean,
making science look like a bitch. He brings up Galileo getting the fucking Earth revolving around the sun.
Yeah.
Or the sun revolving, all that, or the other way around, sorry, but getting that wrong says and making him look like a bitch and all. It's just a really fun, it's a great episode for that idea, you know.
I think like in terms of like the kind of idea of like not knowing what's going in your arm and kind of having faith that way. I still think though, like I have friends that are doctors and pharmacists.
That's it. I trust the medical professionals in my life.
So, yeah, exactly. Like I don't feel like I'm blindly trusting a profession.
That's it. Yeah, no, that's
it's like I'm trusting my friend who has told me that the evidence is good enough for them in their expert opinion, at the very least. You know, it's like, but yeah, I need to get back into it. It's always funny. There's a couple of new seasons I haven't fucking watched. They have a podcast now.
Yeah, I think that might actually be Megan Gans. Who does that podcast? Who was one of the fucking best writers on Community, Modern Family. I think she. What else did she's done loads of stuff. She's responsible for one of a few of the best episodes of Community. I think she might have been showrunner in season 4 for a while, which is Poison Chalice, like fucking. Yeah. But she's an amazing fucking writer. I think it might be her who does that podcast. It'd be worth checking.
I think it's the cast.
Yeah, but I think she produces it because she's one of the writers on It's Always Sunny.
Oh, really? Okay.
She has been for the last few years.
Oh, right, okay. I don't know anything about it other than I just hope it's not just them just like talking about like just old
nothing like this.
No, but just old episodes or something.
Yeah,
it's just
I don't
know. But yeah, it's funny to think that this is going to be coming out in about probably at least well, if my predictions are correct and there's no more audio issues or anything that speeds it up the queue, this will be like the middle of February ish. And we could be talking about a world that doesn't even exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Da, da, da. But yeah, I'm proud of myself.
You're proud of yourself?
I am so proud of myself. Are you proud of yourself? It's just the voice. Sometimes me and Margaret do each other.
I really like it.
Just, I'm very proud of myself.
Oh man, I'm running out of steam here, Nathan. We need to pick it up for the last 20.
You never acknowledge the lack of steam. You only try to replace the steam.
This is the home stretch now. Come on, let's not bicker stuff this.
That was great earlier, wasn't it?
We're still going, Ross.
Remember when we did 3.5 podcasts really well? Give me your
oh God.
Give me your hot take for the year.
Hot take. That's too broad. That's too broad.
No, as in like what do you think no one sees coming that's coming? Can I tell you one that I learned that I think maybe might just send us just the right amount spiraling for the last 15 minutes?
It better not be about robots.
It is about robots.
You fuck!
Da, 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 da. Cut music in here. Robots freak make out. Do do do. It's gonna go right in front of my hand like that. Just like freak. Let's.
I know it won't.
I'm gonna call your fucking bluff. I have 6 weeks to do this. Robots freak make out.
Make it have a wee ring.
I have read an article that says that they have robots that are able to reproduce now.
How?
Robot dicks.
No, are you serious? They're like that.
Yes, I am serious. Yeah, I'll find the article, and if I've made a note of it while editing this, future Nathan, make a note of this.
So does it like start off as a battery, and then like after
starts out like a little
6
you know the one you
you're a plug. It's a plug. It's the size of a plug socket.
You know the one you get like in a watch.
Yeah,
that's the start of it,
right?
And then you end up like like the big 9-volt ones that look like little chodes.
And then it comes out as a petrol generator.
Yeah.
Petrol.
Before you know it, they're all in BMWs all world over. Just fucking size of a laptop, massive. Laptop squared, huge thing altogether. No, but I didn't say. How did this descend into batteries can reproduce? That was never the point.
No, I said the robot baby start off as a little battery.
Oh yeah, sorry, no. To be fair now, after bringing it up, I immediately realised that if I was going to bring it up, I should probably have had more information than I had. I thought it would be enough to just get you spiraling, and that would have sent us down the last 10 minutes here. But obviously, that's not the case.
We can always check the notes on my phone. I'm sure there's some nonsense in there.
Let's do it. We never check the notes on your phone. We always let's see if there's any fucking. I hope you have a fucking manifesto in there, and I can mock you for it.
I hope I hope I have anything worth fucking talking about in here now. This could really be a disaster.
Imagine we spend the next 40 seconds, and then he just goes, "No, nothing."
Well, okay. The first note that is open in my phone. I don't know if you can see this. It says, "Cars, rubbish, monitors, guitar." What does that mean?
Are these some of Brian Eno's magic cards again?
It says car, rubbish, monitors, guitar. I know what it means now, but it wasn't immediately clear. Can you guess?
Cars, rubbish, monitors.
No, car, rubbish, monitors, guitar.
Was there a monitor in the boot of your car with the rubbish and you were meant to throw it out?
No, so there was loads of rubbish in the car. I had to clean the car of rubbish, grab the monitors and the guitar from the studio before I went down Noma. And then I have something here, and the headline is, "A new way to sell spinach. Introducing the Spinach Man. He's a folksy overseer of the spinach garden, an innovative new initiative by Tesco in their continuing bid to go green. Spinach will no longer be served in plastic. If you require spinach, the Spinach Man will satisfy your needs." Were we talking about the packaging of spinach recently?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Oh, we did actually.
Yeah, I think that must have been after that.
Yeah, it was like sweaty. We were saying it was sweaty and your spinach gets
So I think I was
sweaty.
thinking of an innovative new way of selling spinach is to have a spinach garden as part of the produce side, where you get a spinach man is the curator of the spinach that you need. So you tell him exactly how much you need and he'll clip off a few leaves of spinach with his long fingernails and you pay tribute to the spinach man.
Cool.
And
Are we going to have a lettuce man and a...
I'd say, yeah, we could actually just do all...
Salad leaves man.
Salad man, salad fingers. We're back there.
I don't think it's been taken. That's cool. Take it.
There's more of that. Let's see.
It's lovely to see how your beautiful mind works.
Yeah, and now I'm back into the skip chat. I have a thing here that says Dunkin' Donuts, Merry Christmas. Hey, what is this like?
None of us know.
Sorry, that's not riveting podcasting. I'm gonna leave that.
And then you've mocked me for my notes.
You're okay.
You get that phone off the table right now.
Sorry.
Taking up real estate where our elbows could go.
Sorry. We really topped out at the spinach man there.
You've mocked me now for my notes.
I know. Well, listen,
Not easy bringing notes, is it,
I
Mick?
know, but this is the 4th podcast. We're running out of steam.
Sorry.
I've had a bit to drink.
Have you?
I'm injured.
Are you?
Yeah.
Never mention it.
Come on. Help me through this last 10 minutes here, man. Let's do this. Come on. We can do this.
What are your... We're a bit late, probably chronologically now, for New Year's resolutions, but as it is still December, talk to me.
Running. It's the easiest form of exercise to maintain and continuously
That's the spirit.
do.
It'll be easy.
But it's something I've done regularly. I can't believe how sore and tense I feel. I felt like I had got out of Dodge. I was like, I can't believe I got away with this. A year of no exercising. But I haven't got away with it, Nathan.
You haven't?
I'm a shell of a man, and I think running, possibly yoga, but I've nowhere to do yoga.
You don't need very much space to do yoga.
If you do as much falling over as I do, you don't want to be banging into things.
If you have enough space to lay down a yoga mat, you have enough space to do yoga in your house. Like, you don't need very much space. You have that fucking porch out the side of your gaff. But I don't know what your new gaff looks like. You might be in that by now, but just do it there. There's loads of great fucking YouTube things and all. Sure, wasn't Orla doing it in the house?
She's tiny.
Oh, yeah, but just push the sofa.
You know
back a bit
me,
further.
I'm beast. They call me the beast.
You're just worried you'd be so good at it that you'd end up fucking stretching so much.
No,
the
I
sofa
actually
goes
think I
through
would
the
be
wall.
good at it. I think I will
you'd
be
be
good
great
at it. But the way our house is, and when I was like, this does not give me good yoga feels. I can't fucking stretch out.
There's always a million reasons not to do something. There's always a million reasons not to do something.
I did it for 3 days last year. Did the first 3 days of the year.
I'm hijacking this.
And I'm sorry that I got distracted by Adrienne. I'm sorry that she has a beautiful fucking life with a beautiful dog and is just beautiful and seems at peace. And it's very distracting when you're trying to do yoga and you can't even lift your fucking arm over your head.
Use Travis Elliott Yin Yoga.
He sounds gorgeous too.
He is.
Exactly.
I don't know. I can't see it. My eyes are always closed.
I need your recommendations for ugly yoga instructors.
Any ugly yoga instructors out there, guys? Just so we can feel a bit more.
But that's the thing. There's no such thing as an ugly yoga instructor because they're all such inner peace that they just exude beauty.
Yeah,
Sickens me.
it does make me feel a bit culty when I watch it. I'm just like, yeah. Enough about what this is about, and more about how high my hips go in this place.
I will bend as far as you want, and I will kill anybody you need. Just let's get this done.
Do you know what these listeners and watchers need? They need a commitment to a challenge that is both needlessly masculine for no reason and just the right level of competitive that we won't nope out of it. But me and you, we've danced around ideas like this before, but we always, just because the other doesn't push the other one back out of, like, it doesn't pull the other one back in, we always like seem to nope out of these things together, and we go, neither of us want to do
So,
this.
sorry, just before you go any further, needlessly masculine just reminded me that my brother tried to get into the bed with me after a few drinks at the weekend there, and he is now 12 stone of pure muscle. He's been on some fucking regime where he's been eating like an absolute fucking horse.
So
and
maybe
weightlifting, and he's huge. And I woke up and he was just drunkenly climbing into the bed, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, that's right, I'm in the other room." It's like I thought it was like fucking. It's terrifying. I thought I was in prison.
What if the challenge is you and me have to live and eat and exercise on a meal plan written for us by our brothers.
Well, your brother. What did you? Well, my brother's like into that sort of stuff.
So is Jesse.
Right? Is
Sorry,
he?
Adam.
Right. So Jesse's into his fitness.
Yeah. He
But
is.
I'm vegan.
Well, that's your tough shit, really, isn't it? I guess I'll just have an easier time than you.
And what's the
Looks
end
like
goal?
I'm already winning.
Is the end goal the fight?
It doesn't have to be a fight. No, it could just be some sort of a strongman competition. Maybe 3 cans of Campbell's soup. Just whatever your risk and manage.
I think we've realised, Nathan, that 3 is our limit. We're really treading
Tins
water.
of soup. We don't have to be treading water, Mick. You just need to fucking dive down.
I'm sorry, I'm trying, but I'm just like.
Well, don't address it.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Rule 1, you don't address
Yeah,
it.
I know.
We both acknowledge it with our eyes.
Yeah.
There's pain and there's suffering.
I know.
But we work our way through.
We're almost there.
We're almost there.
We're
It's fine,
almost
but we
there.
don't say it out loud that we're almost there.
I get it.
No, we don't
Sorry,
say it.
master.
Sorry,
master.
Yes, you should
Sorry,
be.
master.
Goddamn bitch.
Sorry.
Bitch.
Dr. Podcast. I'm sorry, Dr. Podcast. I'm sorry, Dr. Podcast.
I just wanted now to be known. I was seeing about August when you're like, God, this fucking podcast is really. I wish they had some sort of a challenge hook to really fucking glue this all together. Just remember, I tried. Okay, I tried.
You make me feel like you're ogre that you have to instruct around the lab.
You literally said 3 minutes ago, get this home. Get this home. Get fucking take control and fucking do something. You need to guide me through it.
Right. I'm listening.
What the
You're
fuck
right.
does he want?
You're right. Come on. We need to do what? What are you tell me something to do.
Excuse me. It's been 4 years. I think that we could set ourselves some sort of a challenge where one of those feel-good ones, you know, where everyone's a winner, because at the end of it, the winner is self-improvement, you know? So even if one of us loses whatever the fucking goal is, well, it's about the friends that we made along the way, you know?
Okay, I'm tentatively on board.
One of those. Now, the friends we make along the way need to all be exclusively PTs. Because if you're lifting a sleigh bell and it's fucking putting you out of action for what these people will think is 6 full weeks.
That's 2 cans of soup. 2 cans of soup.
We need to get your max rep.
I've requested the footage.
Well,
as
I
evidence.
think we all need to see it. Yeah.
I'm going to put a compilation down of my boldest wrist flares.
We need to get your max rep up to at least 5 cans of soup. I think the idea of living off and trying to, like, 1 month, eating only what our brothers tell us to eat, and exercise-wise, having to do exactly what each brother sets out for the other one, for, you know, the other brother.
It's a lot of work for them. We're going to have to remunerate them.
Well, I mean, this doesn't come out for 6 weeks.
we can get our shit together.
They have nothing to do. Yeah. What else have we got? Have you got something better? I can't think of anything else.
A fitness goal, I think, is a good one.
Okay.
Give me a goal. Give me a goal.
I don't know anything about your current, so I can...
I haven't run since about March.
I'll give you some of mine.
Was it my birthday this year that I ran?
I'll give you some of mine for scale, right? So, like, what I know about, like, so my, like, max squat, what's the one? Not squat. All my fucking words. Deadlift. My max deadlift at the minute is very light. It's like maybe 40, 50 kilos or something. Not a lot, right? So I could say I want to try and get that up to, I don't know what's reasonable in 4 weeks, but I'll maybe adjust this when I actually know what's reasonable to achieve. But let's say if it's at 40, I want to try get it to 45 or 50 or whatever is reasonable in 4 weeks. That sort of a thing. But like, yeah, weights feels like a good one to hit. And it doesn't have to be like who's lifting the heavier weight, but it's like percentage wise who has increased their max by the most or
and
something.
If we've learned anything, if you're looking to get into politics, if California is anything to go by, the weightlifting is a bonus.
Have some shredding to do. So yeah. So
look, I do need to start exercising again.
Yeah,
I was
I think
shell of a man on Sunday at the pub.
I think everyone was mocking me at the pub.
They were all calling me Marv.
I think the competition aspect is an important thing for you and me, because I think I feel like we'll do really well out of the desire to beat the other. And really all that matters is that we both do our best and do well. But if it's enough incentive to keep us on track to beat the other,
right,
and then we could maybe make it into like some sort of a thing where, like, on the Patreon we'll or just on Instagram or whatever, like, we don't have to make it Patreon only or whatever, but like, yeah, every time you're doing your exercise or whatever, you have to film yourself for like 30 seconds of just one of the things or whatever the fuck. And then you have to, at the end of every week, there needs to be like a montage, a very quick 1 minute montage of just all the quickly cut together things to prove people that you've been doing the thing. And then, I don't fucking know, something else. Some other shit. I don't know.
You can tell he means it. You got it on the button. You got it to an hour on the button. And it says that there. I don't know, some other shit. We're done. We're done here.
Well, that joke won't work because we actually only started 10 minutes into this. But I don't know. Maybe I'm going to say we have 5 more minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to say we have 5 more minutes. But, you know, some other shit. Like, yeah.
Look, I need a reason to beef. I need a reason for exercise. This is as good as reason as any. Whoever the fuck is going to listen to that or will be interested in that.
I mean, fuck me. Like, if there's got to be some reason that other people do it. Everything on YouTube is a challenge. As long as one of us destroys the other, the hits are guaranteed.
Or explains the ending of something.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, so I think like a fitness goal for the two of us, because I still think we need to work up to this nude calendar that we've been promising people.
And the fight.
And the fight. Yeah, of course, yeah. You might have a jump on me on that cardio wise, I think, because when I went back recently there, like I was breathing out my hole, like.
Oh, you know me, I'm like a coyote. I'm just always lean and ready for battle.
And running into anvils. But But yeah, I also think it could be a fun thing for the year. I would love to maybe pitch it to the lad inside. But so they do like a Wimp to Warrior thing in SPG, right? Where they like put you through this like 6-week thing for like. Now, don't worry, it's okay. This is what I'm about to explain. Won't be the pitch, but I think it would be fun to like get you down.
I feel like the name is needlessly cruel.
Well, it's just fucking don't be a
Wimp.
Don't be a bitch, you know. Bitch to Warrior was taken. So, yeah, and you just like it's essentially like a crash course for anybody who hasn't done it. And the idea is at the end of that you have a fight. But I think it'd be really fun to like maybe if they could like lend us an instructor for like a free hour some evening.
I just think you just want to put me through physical pain.
Yeah, of course. But at the end of it, we could like, I just think it would be fun like content to like to you can pick something that you think I wouldn't want to do and I'll do it too. Like
let's go dancing.
No.
Let's go salsa dancing.
Margaret already goes salsa dancing.
Does she need a partner?
She'd probably love you to go.
Mighty. That's what I'm going to start doing then. I'm going to go salsa dancing with Margaret. It'll give you even more reason to want to kick the fuck out of me.
She goes. It was funny whenever the lockdown started, the guy who runs the salsa class had tried to make it like Zoom friendly. But it's not.
Some lad's blurry crotch thrusting in your face.
Salsa dancing is not a Zoom friendly class. It seems like it's actually one of those things where social distancing directly impedes your progress as a salsa dancer. You kind of pretty much need to have a dance part. Have you ever heard the old phrase, it takes two to salsa? Well, I haven't either, but it is categorically true. You heard it here first. Now, if anyone ever asks you if you've heard the phrase "it takes two to salsa," you can say,
yeah,
"Yes, I can." Yeah. I did hear that.
Sold as the hell's that one?
Nathan said it once.
We're clock watching. Both of us went like that there. Right, come on.
It's going to be worth it. Right, well,
come on.
Here you go.
Let's wrap it up.
Here you go.
It's been good.
Here you
been
go.
Fun. We've done 4. We've learned a few lessons.
Some enemies became friends. Some friends became enemies.
Maybe 4 is beyond our capacity. Who knows? Will that you be the final judge of that?
I dare say.
I'm trying to stay limber because of various muscle issues that are fucking crippling me throughout.
I'm just doing
life.
this for moral support, to be honest.
Yeah.
I dare say that if we were to jumble up these 4, people may guess that a different one was the 4th.
Was it the politics?
Probably.
Do you mind if we talk about the politics? Yeah, no, I'm sure it'd be grand.
How dare
Boom!
you?
Manifesto!
How dare you? How dare you mischaracterize exactly
Let me just write down some notes
It
here.
didn't feel... Well, you want to see what they were shorthand for?
Furiously scrawls and Marxist.
I just thought that... we had 4 podcasts. It was something I had on my notes for a while. Thought it'd be a good one to burn an episode on.
I enjoyed the chat. I'm sore from leaning forward because I know you don't like me leaning back.
Very selfish of me, but I would love people to be able to hear you.
Well, I wish we didn't have to have table mics. I wish we could have a mic that facilitated this.
You mean what you're doing right now?
Would you be alright with me doing this?
That's fine.
Would you be okay with me doing
Yes,
this?
just don't hold the lead.
Well, that changes everything. I could do this.
You still need to be in shot.
We could do another hour like this.
I'll call your bluff. Okay. I think you've earned a break.
Yeah. I think
It's going to be okay.
I think it's time.
Yeah.
I've literally run out of steam.
I know. It's okay.
Thank you for understanding.
It's all right.
I think we did well. But
Sure, it's 8:45.
yeah. What's later than that, you fucking her?
What'll be on tomorrow?
Work.
What time?
Usually about 8:30.
You'll be all right. Be fine. Sure, by the time you go home now, you could still get 8 hours sleep.
I don't think that's
Are you working
true.
from home?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only like 12 now, right?
I don't know. I've lost all sense of time for I've been here forever.
Okay. Well, they'll never know. Thank you very much for listening. If You found that not completely intolerable. I mean, you're already still here, and I don't need to tell you other things about us because it must mean you know us very well to be putting up with this shit for the last hour or so.
Oh, there's some nuggets in there.
More like dingleberries. Just pull it off. Awful. This is the last chance we're going to have to record this year. Now, you are well into February, but this is December 21st and has been for a month now. You may have all noticed.
What a year.
What a year. We hope you enjoyed yourselves.
Were we still recording remotely at the start of the year?
Yeah.
Madness. What a year.
We weren't back recording long before we started filming, and we've only filmed the last 15, 20 episodes. Sort of ish. Well, depending on what order this is, but anyway. Don't forget, you can watch all these episodes. I feel like we finally got the setup down.
Yeah.
Ish.
It's all ready for you when you landed.
Absolutely, yeah. The tape on the floor made sense finally. It was the first time we had taped the floor where we didn't immediately undo all the work of the taping of the floor. It's a sure sign of progress.
It looks good.
Tape looks well. Yeah, thanks to all the support. This is the end of our year, but yours are just like, this is the middle of February, carry on, you fuckers. Stop giving us the big speech at the end, but it's a big moment for us.
Yeah.
So this would be our 4-year anniversary, roughly, probably in around this week of recording for the first time as well. So
it's mad, that, isn't it?
Aye, it's mad.
Pretty much every week, bar a couple of weeks here and there. Ish, but like more or less been regular for 4 years, like.
More or less, yeah. We've really, really kept it in and around the park.
Yeah, in between the ditches.
We've knocked it just within the bounds of the park.
Good. All right. I'm good to go.
Show me your teeth. All good.
All good.
You sure?